Morning, church. My name is Brian, and this is my home. And how I got here is it's an amazing journey, but I'm here to tell you how it all came about. I was born in 1958, February 19th. And again, I had a new birthday, and that was July 19, 1992. And that came through this church, through this aisle. My very first introduction to this church was I met this girl, I dated this girl, and this girl said, "Hey, you want to come to a movie?" And I said, "Sure, let's go." Well, the movie was downstairs in this church, and it was the movie of Armageddon. What a movie to go to. You know, and that was my introduction to this church, and I'll never forget it. And she and she said, "Well, what'd you think?" I said, "Well, that was pretty cool, whatever." So we dated for quite a while. We had our good times and our bad, and it finally came to the point where it was time to marry this girl, and I did, my wife. Throughout that time, not knowing, truly who God was and what effect that it had in her life, I could see where it came from, because all the young kids in this church right now, be thankful that your parents brought you here. Be thankful that you came here to learn about God. Part of the Bible says that the apostles were to go out and teach. There's our teacher. Because if it wasn't for them, he wouldn't be here today. So he's teaching our young people here today who God is and what God has in store in your life. But there again, how I got to know God was a journey of pure hell. Some of the things I'm not proud of, but because now I know that God is a forgiving God. He forgave me for everything that I've done. And I appreciate that. Through the love of my mother, my father, their prayers. Excuse me. I watched God take my father and turn him into a wholly different new man. And Skyline Drive would never be the same, because my father was going to tell everybody. Anybody that would hear, anybody that would listen, he would tell his story. And that's through prayer from my mom. My mom always prayed for my dad to have salvation. And she finally dragged him to this church. And lo and behold, as soon as he walked through that door, he was a changed man. He started to think differently. Then God entered into his life, and he gave himself to God. And from that point on, like I said, Skyline Drive would never be the same. Wherever he worked, wherever he went, he always talked about God. And I can remember seeing that change, but didn't know why or how or where and when. But I knew there was something different. Well, lo and behold, because of my past, I went home one night and I was out of it, and I went to sleep. Next thing you know, I was awakened. I woke up screaming. That was God. God woke me up. God spoke to me while I was sleeping. It wasn't a dream. He just spoke to me. And he said, "You're going to tell the truth, and it's going to be soon." And I woke up, jumped up out of bed, woke up, said, "That was God." And then I just plopped right back down and fell right to sleep. So I didn't know. Then when I finally came to, I realized, wow, that was something else. Didn't know what it meant, but sure enough, it soon came to light that it was going to happen. Well, in a sense, my marriage was in trouble. Sure enough, I was cutting the grass, and God picked me up, turned me around, said, "Go to that church." And I came back a year, and I said, "Wow, I remember that movie. Here we go." So I saw a pastor, And I said, can I speak to you? And we did. We talked for quite some time. And I told him about my experience of waking up. And he said to me, I knew you were going to walk through that door because God told him that I was going to come and talk to him. We met at ShopRite, and my wife introduced me to the pastor. And I said, nice man. She said, what do you think? I said, nice man. I didn't know, where he came from, but Renee was coming to church, and that was the new pastor of the church. And here he is. So, and I walked through the door and I saw a pastor, and we talked and we talked. And it came to pass where that day came where I spoke the truth. I was ready to accept all the consequences, and because of it, and it all, God provided me with a beautiful relationship with church, with pastor, my wife, my mother, my father, my aunt, my uncle. I couldn't believe how many people had, before I even came in here, were praying for me. My aunt Babe and my uncle Ray and my uncle Norman and my aunt Pat, my aunt Rita, my mother, my aunt Martha, the people that were in this church that didn't even know me that were praying for me. And when I came here, I just realized this is my home. This is where I wanted to be. This is where I wanted to learn. So I walked down that aisle July 19th and I gave my heart to God. And December 24th, I took a little dunk in the tub and gave my all to God. I wanted to give something back because he gave me something. I wanted to show God, because I love you so much, I'm going to give myself to you. I'm going to be baptized December 24th, which I did. So, but throughout this journey, I watched Marco. Before you were even born, we were praying for you. When you were born, we were praying for you. And look at you now. Your testimony was amazing to me, because we watched you grow. We watched your brothers grow. It was fun to see, because Marco didn't say much. You'd say hi to him, and you just walk right on by them. But now, what a young man you turned out to be. Same with your brothers. They're young men, and there's more to come because of who you know, that God is in you. God's in your brother and your other brother, Moses. So with this journey, I see everybody in this church. My cousin Todd is an amazing person. I remember when Todd was born, and I went to go see him at the house. And just to look back, I knew it was God, that God's in Todd. Like, I can't believe, I wish I had God's enthusiasm like he has for God. But everybody has their own way in acknowledging who God is and how their love to God goes out. I could look back and everything that has happened in my life. I feel like a cat with 9 lives, except I'm a twin cat, so I got 18 lives. Everything that's happened in my life, I look back and I said, wow, that was God. God was there then. I remember having a bad wreck up in upstate New York. If you looked at Stratford, how I'm amazed at how I got out of that. But I look at it and said, God was there. He saved me. He saved me out of a wreck in my Camaro. He saved me from people that I met on the street that were really bad, that because of my job, I didn't know they were bad. And all of a sudden, you look back at certain cases then of what could have happened. God saved you from that. So I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in everything that we prayed for home. Watching my dad and in the state that he was in, where he had passed, you look at it and say, God took him before he even got to that stage, because that was not my father that was in that bed that day that he died. That was somebody else, because my dad was long gone before that, and I watched that. I watched my father walk. Wow. Jimmy was a hard man, but he was a kind man. He was a gentle giant. To see him go through the things that he had gone through, and he was quiet. But I do believe, because I know for a fact that God had saved him in this church. And he is where he is today with my mother-in-law in heaven. No, my dad's in heaven. I've watched people come and go in this church. You know, everybody thinks, wow, it's just a small church. No, it isn't. It's a huge church. There's so many people that have come and gone and met God in this church, and now has gone to say that, you know, they believe in who they believe in because of this church. So I'm thankful for everything that's happened here. I believe that our journey is everything is backed by God. No matter what you do, God's going to be there for you. He's been there for me. He's still there for me. Carlene, get some rest. Because I've learned the hard way. So what I thought, well, I knew God, the business that I had, and I knew everybody's telling me that was God that allowed me to have that. And now that it's gone, because I was working 24/7, 7 days a week, and not getting enough rest, and it took a toll on me. And God said, it's time to stop. So certain things, no, not retire. I just, not yet. Almost there. But it was time to stop, and it was time for me to relax, to get to know my family, my friends, who I am, what I'm searching for. Like Marco's his searches, he knows what he's doing. I still have things that I need to learn, and now that I can, I will. I believe in the things of the Bible. I'm not a reader. I just, for some reason, God never instilled that in me. I don't. I open it up and I can't. I don't have the attention span to read. But I learn by what other things, by our teacher. If we go to another church when we're on vacation or whatever, or people that have saw God in work with the way he works. Nobody has ever seen God, because then they'd be dead anyways. But I'm just grateful for this church, and that's all I have to say is thank you. Thank you for everybody here. Thank you for all your prayers. And anytime that I need prayer, it's always there.